does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep getting put in these predicaments? Nurse Bay is getting her ass beat in these streets. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Katie, aka Action Jackson, back with another video. Today is Vlogmas day 14. Can y'all believe I've been doing this for 2 weeks? Well, 2 weeks-ish. I did kind of slip up, but that's neither here nor there. And today we're gonna do more like a little sit-down video, a little juicy story time. I told you guys, well, like if you follow me on Instagram, I told you guys that I was gonna do the story time, but I had to wait, okay? I had to wait until that last check cleared. I'm not gonna lie. I had to wait until I got paid, and so I can make sure wasn't nothing gonna go wrong when I told my story. Thank you guys again for all the love that I've been getting on my Vlogmas videos so far. I really see it. I've been getting a couple new not even a couple, a lot of new subscribers, and my videos have been getting a lot more views than normal, and I'm very, very appreciative of that. So thank y'all. Before we start, go ahead and give me a like, or well, you go to the video, the end of the video and like it, because maybe you won't like it, but I guarantee you're gonna like it. So basically, this is gonna be a story time about an incident that happened on my last assignment as a travel nurse. If y'all are new here, if you are, hey girl, hey, I love you, what's up? I am a registered nurse and I am a travel nurse. Story time is just gonna be about an incident that took place which resulted in a nurse basically going around and telling people that I assaulted him. This face, I assaulted you? Be serious. I feel like I have to give y'all all of the facts before I just start talking. And a quick disclaimer before I do start talking, I did not enjoy my time there at all. I met some amazing patients. I took care of some amazing people, but I also had a very rough time there with the, you know, unsafe ratios, understaffing, poor management. Like, it was just a lot. To add on rude staff workers, not all of them, because I did meet some really, really, really nice and cool people while I was working there too. But for like this incident and everything else that happened after this incident have happened, I would never go back to this place. I would never, you couldn't pay me to go take another assignment here. So this is why I do not care to speak about my experience, and let me emphasize that that is my experience, and nobody can be upset at me or try to get me in trouble because I'm speaking about my experience. I'm not saying anybody's names. I'm definitely not saying any patient's names. I'm not even saying the name of the hospital. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Let's get into it. So like I said, I am a travel nurse. Travel nurses usually take assignments that are like 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 13 weeks, whatever, however much. My contract was actually for 13 weeks. This happened kind of like halfway through to like 3/4 of the way through my assignment. So the person that this incident happened with, I definitely knew him. And I'm not gonna say his name. We're gonna call him Chris. Okay, we're gonna call him Chris. That's cool. We'll call him Chris. I definitely knew him. He is a day shifter. I am a night shifter. So I definitely knew him. I got a report from him. I had definitely heard about him from other staff members because of the type of person that he was, but we'll get into that later. But like, I had never really had a long drawn out interaction with him or conversation with him. The man is probably in his early 50s, has to be like his minimum early 50s. Not that race has to do anything with it, but an older white guy. Like, I'm not, what do we have to talk about? So he would give me a report sometimes. I would give him a report sometimes, but that was that. But I definitely had heard about his attitude and how he speaks to people, how he goes about his business when he's at work, because like I said, he's a day shifter, so I don't see it. But for me to constantly be hearing about it, that's telling you something right there. Let me give y'all a little background about the floor that I was working on, and this is pure word of mouth because as a traveler, I'm not from this hospital, but this is what I heard, and I heard it straight from a core staff member, somebody who was hired and has been on that floor. And I don't know what happened, but basically something happened where one of the managers quit, and when one of the managers quit, a lot of the nurses quit right behind him. So they basically ended up having almost no staff. There was a lot of travelers on day shift, but when I tell you night shift was completely travelers, there was one lady. There's probably there was one, two, there's probably like 2 or 3 ladies that worked there that were fully staffed, and I mean on the nurse's behalf. I don't know about CNAs, but there was night shift was essentially all travelers. I don't know if y'all are aware, if y'all are in the medical field or not, but between like nurses, staff, and travelers, I don't know why, but there's always some type of discourse. Like, even before I became a travel nurse, I would see people at my staff job being assholes to the travelers. And it's like, why are y'all being mean? Is it because they're making more money? You can go and be a travel nurse at any point in time if you would like. So I don't understand why people act so upset towards travelers because they get paid more or what. I have met some travel nurses with a nasty ass attitude though. But that's just like anybody. Like anybody can have a nasty attitude. I don't get it. It's really stupid. It's really annoying because at the end of the day, we all work here and we all work with these patients, so we might as well all just try to get what we got to do done while we're here for 12 hours. Like, what the fuck, what's going on? What's the problem? A lot of the core staff that was still there would tell us like, oh, people come and they quit, they come in and they quit. Like, it's because the floor is very difficult, the floor is very heavy, that floor is very, very stressful. And I keep telling y'all, like, when I'm telling y'all that they are giving unsafe ratios, like, my first or second week working there, I think I had 8 patients, and I had 8 patients on epic downtime, which means paper charting with 8 patients. It's just like, stuff is crazy. And after that, y'all, that was very insane. And I only had the 8 patients for 8 hours from 11 to 7. But after that, like, I literally freaked out and I was like, I will never, like, I called my recruiter and I was like, if they ever try to do this to me again, I won't accept the assignment, and I don't care if they cancel me or not. So there's basically all travelers at night and there's some core staff during the day. Now, this person that I happened to get into it with was a core staff member. So I feel like he felt like because he was a core staff member, because he had been working there for so long, and I feel like everybody had been putting up with his ish forever. Like, I'll tell y'all a little later, but like, I just, like, everyone would say like, that's just how he is, this is what he does, this is how Chris acts, this is just, yeah. And like, it was crazy because I had got floated to another floor, and I had told one of those nurses like what was going on with me because I was so irritated. And she was like, oh, yeah, I know Chris. That's definitely him. Like, that's how he acts. I got into it with him too. So it's like, people all around the hospital know how you act, and you still work here. You're making this a toxic environment for how many people, and you still work here? So one night I came into work. I basically came in, got a report from him on a patient. Now, this specific patient, definitely not even going to tell you that, I'm just going to refer to him as the patient. This patient was having some altered mental status. He's not all the way there. He's aggressive, very much so aggressive. And it was just kind of like one of those heavy cases. He had a one-to-one sitter, which is somebody that sits in the room 24/7, blah, 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 blah. Like, it was a lot. I got a report from this nurse, Chris, and with no problem, no issue, cool. I'm taking care of this patient. Had a crazy night with the patient. The patient almost fell. I literally physically had to catch a grown man in my, oh my gosh, I'll never forget this. Oh my God, I was so frustrated this whole night. Literally had to catch this man from falling on the ground because he didn't want to sit down. He didn't want to listen to me, and he was getting angry, but he was just like, I want to walk around the room. I want to, but like, when you're the nurse and somebody is not stable enough to walk around, and it's the worst when they are not ANO times 4 and they're not all the way there up there because they don't know what they're doing, and it's really unsafe sometimes. So I'm trying to make sure the man don't fall, and when I tell y'all, he slipped and like I saw my life flash before my eyes. So that night when he gave me a report, he basically told me, okay, I'm coming back in the morning, cool. So I'm like, okay, cool, he come back. This is the problem with Chris when Chris is the charge nurse on this floor. Chris likes to call the night shift charge nurse at 5 in the morning and make sure that he can cherry pick his patient assignment. He doesn't like for the charge nurse to do their charge job and make the assignment. He likes to make sure that he has a charge appropriate assignment, which basically means he likes to pick out all the walkie-talkie patients for himself. Like, he will literally call and say, I don't want that patient, I don't want that patient, I want X, Y, and Z. That's not okay. But I can't call before my shift. I can't call in 30 minutes before my shift and say, I'm not taking this person. I'm gonna say, you're gonna cancel my contract, right? He also has a habit of coming into work early when you're not even supposed to be clocked in, because baby, it's a sign right by that time clock that say do not clock in more than 15 minutes before your shift, bookie butt. So you shouldn't even been on the clock. This day it was 5:40. 5:40. I know this because I'm sitting at a computer. I'm sitting right in front of the patient's room. This is the patient who I said is a little bit altered. He had a rough night. I had just got this man to go to sleep. He woke up maybe like 20 minutes before all of this happened and was still kind of agitated. So we were trying to calm him down. I was sitting outside at the desk and I was like on the computer. So he walks in. I didn't see him coming because the unit is like a circle. So I'm sitting at the computer with my back this way facing the patient's room. And he walked, I'm just sitting on my computer. I look up and I see him walk into the patient's room. For one, it's 5:40. What are you doing? For two, you're not the nurse right now. Like, this is my premise of the whole argument, is that at this moment right now, I am this patient's nurse, right? So he walks past me, he walks in the room. I don't say anything. He walks in the room and starts to ask the sitter, oh, how was the patient's night? Did he do this? Did he do that? Was he this? Was he that? X, Y, and Z. Asking the sitter. Now, the sitter is, like I said, he's just a person who sits in the room. How do you know if this person has any medical knowledge? They don't have to do anything but sit there and just chart and say that the patient is okay. So you can't sit and ask a certain level of questions to somebody who probably ain't even gonna understand half the stuff you just said. You get what I'm saying? He's in the room. I'm like, Chris, I'm sitting right here. You could have asked me. Like, I'm literally sitting right here. I could give you a better overview, I literally said I could give you a better summary of his night than the sitter can. I'm like, I'm sitting right here. He walked right past me. When I tell y'all, so his back was towards me because he walked in the room, right? This is him. After I said what I said, I kid y'all not, he turned around with his hand out. And was like, excuse me, I'm talking to the sitter right now. And every time you speak with me, I feel like you have a little bit of attitude in your voice. I'm telling you right now that it needs to stop. Who the fuck are you talking to? Who are you talking to? When I tell y'all, this man proceeded to then close the door, reached for the door, and began to close himself in my patient's room and close the door in my face. I'm still sitting at the desk at this point because I'm literally baffled. Like I told y'all before, me and him never really had no, like, when I got a report from him the night before, it was no problem. Nothing at all. We never really had no prolonged interaction. So I'm like, what the fuck is up your ass this morning? So I'm still sitting at the desk. And when he reached for the door to close the door, I immediately, Chris, if you close that door, I promise you're going to have a problem today. If I can promise you one thing, if that door closed, you're going to be very mad this morning. You're going to be pissed to the highest level of pissivity this morning if you close that door in my face. Because what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, it's 6:40 in the morning. You're not the nurse right now. You have walked into my patient's room and closed the door in my face. Are you dumb? Like, what are you doing right now? It's the fact that I could never walk in at 6:40 p.m. and just walk around the unit like I own the place and start demanding shit. At this point, the door is closed. He closes the door in my face. I jump out my seat. I try to open the door. Would y'all believe this big ass man? The man is at least probably raised height. So maybe like 6'1", 6'2". Okay, like I said, early 50s, bigger man. Would y'all believe this man is barricading the door? I can't even put, y'all see me. I mean, I'm not the smallest fry in the box, but like, what am I gonna do with you? Like, what am I gonna do up against you? So I'm trying to open the door, y'all. He's standing in front of the door. I pushed against the door twice. After that, cool. I walked away. I said, I'm going to get the charge nurse. I walked over because the unit that I work on is kind of like two different sides. So I had to walk to the other side. I told her exactly what was going on. Like, he's over here losing his goddamn mind. Like, I don't know what he on, but he is just, yeah. So when I walked back to the side, I opened a door. Finally, I opened the door. He's no longer barricading the door, but he's standing in the room still, sitting like in the corner of the room. I immediately, only thing I just kept repeating, you're not the nurse, leave the room. You're not the nurse, leave the room. You're not the nurse, leave the room. You're not. He want to argue back and forth. I don't care, you. Like, I can't even remember what he was saying, y'all, because I literally wasn't trying to hear. I just kept, you're not the nurse, leave the room. You are, I don't care. You're not the nurse. You're not the nurse. Leave. You're not the nurse. Like, when I tell y'all I was so mad, like, I can feel myself getting re-mad thinking about it, because it's just like, bro, the audacity, like, like, I could never do that. I would never do that. And as he's leaving, he's like, oh, and I'm gonna tell Sarah, that's not her name, I'm gonna tell Sarah all about this, blah blah blah. That's the manager for the travel nurses, I guess. And I said, I don't care, I'll tell her my damn self, because you're nowhere in the right here, bro. You came in early to go into my patient's room to start, and then the craziest thing about it, I told y'all this patient is altered mental status and agitated, right? So why would you go into a patient who you know has that level of cognition and you're riling them up? And we, like, when I tell y'all, we literally in the room going at it, going back and forth. I'm telling him to leave the room because what are you doing? And you're doing all of this in this room. You literally closed the door, locked the door, and got somebody pushing up against the door. For somebody who's confused, you know what that could probably look like to him? You know, it's like you choosing to do all of this at 5 something in the morning in this patient's room, of all the patients, right? Okay, so he leaves, and then he calls the supervisor on me. Like I said, he was the charge nurse for that day, so he didn't leave. He went back into the report room. He called the supervisor on me. Supervisor came upstairs. I told her exactly what happened. Yeah, I told her exactly what happened. Basically, she was saying that they were probably going to end up floating me because I worked that night as well. But I wasn't really down with that because I think I was like on my 3rd or 4th day in a row, and I'm like, bro, I've been here all week. I know these patients. Why do I have to float? Because he was claiming that he was uncomfortable around me because I'm aggressive and I'm this and I'm that. But the whole situation never would have happened had you not been in my fucking patient's room. Had you not tried to lock yourself in a room with my patient. Like, what's not clicking? And I really want y'all to comment under this and like tell me what y'all point of view is, because I literally was going crazy, like trying to see, was I tripping? Because you're literally walking around here making a case that you're so afraid of me and that I assaulted you. He was telling people that I assaulted him because when he was barricading the door with his body, when I pushed the door, apparently the door hit his head. Here's the question. If you weren't in the room, would the door have hit your head? No, if you weren't in the room, it literally would have never happened. Actually, God worked it out in my favor because I came in that night and I got floated to the easiest unit in the hospital. It's crazy because every time he tried to play with me, it literally went the opposite way and flipped in his face. Like I said, that was like my 3rd or 4th night in a row. So after that, I had like 2 days off, I think. I come back and there was 2 day shift nurses who I was cool with. And they also had issues with Chris because they were new grad nurses and he's just an a-hole. He's just mean to everybody, bro. Like, he's so mean to everybody. So they had each told me their experience with him. Literally told me he walked around, or he walks around all day telling people that I assaulted him, and that he'll just go up to random people like, oh, do you know that Katie girl? Yeah, she assaulted me. She hit me in my head with the door, blah, 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 blah. But you're not telling them that I only hit you in the head with the door because you were barricading the door of my patient. Like, what are you saying? It just doesn't even make sense, bro. So you're walking around trying to fucking do defamation of character on my name and try to get everybody to not like me when everybody already liked me. Because honestly, I'm gonna keep it a stack with y'all. Like, I'm a cool person to work with. I'm funny. I'm gonna make the best of a bad situation. If we have a bad night, I'm going to help you. If you need help, I could be drowning in my own shit. If you need help, I'm going to find a time to come and help you. Like, I don't bother with nobody unless y'all bother with me. Like, I'll sit in the corner after I pass all my meds and chart and do whatever I gotta do and mind my business. Like, I don't mess with people at work. I come to work, get my money, do my job, and go home. Like, that's just me. So y'all, he's still running with this assault thing. I'm talking to the nurse manager almost every day because I'm like, I just feel like it's not fair that I'm being treated differently, or y'all are trying to float me and do all this other stuff. They actually made a rule that when me and him worked on the same day, that he was not to give report to me. That day I came back, he asked a nurse who's younger than me, I think she's like 22, and a new grad nurse, the girl's this big. He asked her to walk him to his car after a shift because he was afraid that I had people waiting outside that were going to jump him or beat him up. It's really giving you're scared because I'm black or something. Like, what the fuck? What inclination did I give you to think that I had fucking gang bangers roaming around and toting guns and just ready to shoot shit for me? Like, who told you that? When did I ever give you that? When did I ever give raw like that? Like, I'm still talking to management because I'm like, this is just not right. Like, it's just not right. He's still walking around talking about me. Like, every time I come into work, it's somebody new that's just saying, he just randomly will come up to them and be like, yeah, you know that Katie girl, blah blah blah, and just be like talking shit. But clearly he received no consequences. Like, he received no consequence for his actions, and that's really the problem. There was the whole rule of if I worked the night and he worked that next morning, we were not to give reports to each other. We were to avoid each other, which was okay with me. Like, amen to that. I didn't want him to fucking talk to me no way. I don't care if I see you, but just don't say shit to me. And it all was going well until literally like one of my last shifts, I like ended up having to give him a report. I can't remember what happened, but I ended up having to give him a report. I'm super adult about it. I don't give a fuck. Literally, I'm gonna give you a report, I'm gonna walk away, and that's gonna be that. Don't say nothing extra to me. Like, just let me do my job, be an adult. I had to give him a report on like 3 patients. He was getting a report from a different night shift nurse, and she was finishing up. So while she's finishing up, they're talking like kind of like in the corner. I went and stood kind of sort of over there, but not that close, and I'm just standing there at the desk on my phone waiting to give a report. I'm just chilling. This man stopped in the middle of his report, and I could feel him staring at me. I'm on my phone, I'm just like, feel somebody staring at me. I look up, he's staring at me. I'm like, what? He's talking about some, you better not be recording me. I swear to God, I did not give you consent to record me, or da 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 da. I turn my phone on, like, I'm on Instagram, you dumbass. Like, what are you talking about? I'm not recording. I don't have no bit, y'all. And I tell y'all, I barely even remember what I said to that man. Because why do you keep picking with me? Why do you keep picking with me? Why? Just leave me alone. Nobody's recording you. Like, my phone wasn't even pointed at him. Nobody's recording you. Nobody is worried about you. Like, it's literally a mental illness. It's literally a sickness. It's something wrong with him. That was like my last interaction with him. I literally did not talk to him again after that. And my contract ended a couple days after. To my knowledge, like when I quit, he was on my last shift that night. He worked that day, so he still works there to my knowledge. But he is going to be the reason why a lot of people quit that floor and they don't want to stay there no more, because he is literally a horrible person. Like, I don't know what kind of demons that man is fighting, but God, please get him off him, because the way he walk around treating people, it's crazy. And I know when it comes to like nursing, I have to learn to be more respectful and professional. I don't have to learn to be more respectful, because I respect you until you disrespect me. Like, it don't make sense. Like, leave people alone. That's all. People need to learn to leave people alone, because I'm gonna take it there about me every time. I don't play about me. And neither should you, okay? But yeah, y'all, that is my story time. I will never go back to the hospital ever again. Thank God I made it through. And I really pray that my next assignment is better, because why do this keep happening to me? why do I keep getting put in these predicaments with these assignments? Like, what? A nurse bae is getting her ass beat in these streets. That was it for today's Vlogmas, day 14. I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.